to a very, very disorganized, night. So my phone's going off here. Probably people wanting to know what's happening. So, sorry about the late start. So, righto, guys. Without further ado, we'll play the thing. So welcome, guys. Bit of a funny night tonight. We've got a few here. Late night. Been on the phone this evening talking to a few people. Probably talking too much, to be completely honest with you. How's everyone doing? There's a few here. It's going to be a quiet night. It's going to be a relatively short night. So yeah. So it's a question and answer night. I haven't even got prizes done out yet, so it's been particularly crazy. So welcome all: Ken, Jason, Whitney, Sue, Jeremy, Pauline, Jason, lots of people here. So guys, not much to talk about tonight, so I'm relying on you. I'm going to update you on the lease and what's been going out there. I'm going to tell you another saga. It's tell you another saga about what's going on with the lease, and we'll what else are we going to talk about? I had a great couple of hours out at Glendon's with the Gold Coast treasure hunters. I hope that they eventually found a little bit of gold, but Kaz is here somewhere. Phone won't shut up here. So yes. So questions. So yeah, guys, I'm looking for questions. So if you've got any questions, yeah. So what number show is tonight? I got no idea. I haven't looked at the numbers for ages, right? But it's a very interesting question because I haven't actually, when was the last one I put Monday Night Live on? I think it's about, we must be 140-ish, 122, 123, 124, I don't know, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 39, 40, 41. This must be 142 by my guess. So, but I do want to do a proper count on that. 142. But I will do a proper count on that. But someone should do it for me and have a look and count them up. So yeah. Here's a good question, Mark McIntosh. I purchased a detector and a pinpointer, a new pick, and I haven't explained it to my wife. What excuse can you recommend I use if she can't find out? I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not very good at that. I'm bloody terrible at that. I actually told my wife the other day. We've been continually spending a lot of money on the lease, and she said no more spending. So I said to her the other week, I've got a part I need for the lease. That part turned into a water pump, but anyway, yes. So yes, I follow the same route a little bit, mate. Don't worry about that. So it was only a water pump. So yeah. But anyway, what's happening at Palmerville? Well, we can talk about that. Palmerville is happening. I think the Palmville's happening. I don't know exactly dates yet. We need to get an agreement put together, and that's what's holding it up at the moment. We've got to actually we've got to see if we can get and I don't think we will. We've got to see if we can get basically a portable camp base, which has got water treatment, toilet, showers, all that sort of stuff built into it, up to the camp where we're camping. So I don't know how we're going to get that thing up there because the roads are all washed out still. So that's the biggest issue at the moment with Palmerville. So that's the biggest ever. What's in the mug? She's Coke tonight. Nothing else. Although I could do with 16 bourbons, to be fair with you. It's been a big couple of weeks. So, but yes. So, it's been good. So, right, what's in the mug? 17th of May, Ben here. Looking forward to lease for training. So, training dates on the lease. I've actually got to look this up for my wife. So, people ask about training dates. So, we'll just have a look here. Because I can't remember, actually. I've been out of it. So, yes. I've been doing too much. I've got too much on. So, 2-day training. Let's just have a look at the dates there. So training on the lease, it's loading. I'll just take a moment. So it's the 12th and 13th of June. Then 17, 18 July, 21, 22 of August. So that's what's happening there. So, yeah. Righto. Wish people would stop texting me. That's my wife. I've got to get milk. She's probably heard the comment about the water pump. Right, so. Any big pay dirt bags available? No. There's a saga with that, but we are working on paydirt and I have all the components I need now. And paydirt is excellent. We haven't got any gold paydirt. We have got fossils and gemstones available on the website, of course. So, I would expect paydirt. I'm rolling out there tomorrow night. So I would expect paydirt. Hopefully, to be next Monday, we'll have a big release on paydirt sort of thing. So, the lease has been pretty cold. It hasn't been too bad. We don't get a lot of ice out there. Yes, so yeah, we don't. It's cold. Yeah, it's cold. But now, what's your thoughts on the gold monster that BCF is selling? Let's see what BCF is doing. Let's have an actual look at what BCF is doing on a gold monster. Let's have a look here. I'm typing it up here now. So BCF, what price are them at BCF at the moment? Let's have a look. 1,029, okay, for the club, right? And this is probably half of what's wrong with it. So I know that I'm dearer than BCF, right? So, and my website doesn't pop up and say I want to know where you live, but I'm dearer. There's no doubt about that. But you get the training, right? You get the bonus extras. So you get a USB stick with 50,000 whole gold mine locations on it. You get a whole stack of stuff extra. Plus, you get the business card with the Daylight Helpline on, which is up there. So, it's good. Brad Chandler, 147. Let's see if we can get this right. I've got a book. I write in a book, right, to help my memory, right? And I have got pages and pages of stuff, of jobs that I need to do. So it's crazy. So 147 was that. 143. See, this is the thing. 142. People are helping me out here by counting how many Monday Night Lives are. So, yeah. So, yes. Right. what's going on at the lease, we'll get to that in a minute. Herring storm, grazing, bulldozing tracks at Jurakai. It is true. They're in the southern section at the moment. Any golds being found on these tracks with the earth movement? Yes, there will be. I guarantee that. There is also a lot of trash on those tracks. So yeah, it is. Yeah, there'll be gold there, no doubt about that. Easy done, right? Any track that's pushed in a gold field will have gold on it, there's no doubt. And people should be chasing it. To be completely honest, I don't have a lot of time to do that. So, yeah. So, Damien, how do I rate the 6,000? I think there is now 2 machines that tie for the best gold machine. And that is a 6,000 and a 7,000. I like them both for different reasons. And I certainly, yeah, I like the 6, and I'll tell you exactly why, right? The 6,000 I love, absolutely love, because it's lightweight, easy to use. I can put my young bloke who's 5 on it, my wife can swing it, but it's a very, very powerful machine. But, right, for pure grunt, I'd go the 7,000 every time, right? Simply because it's much, much more robust, and I just love it. I can bulldoze with that thing. So when I really feel like getting into it, the 7,000 is my go-to. If I'm feeling a bit lazy or I don't need the depth, so for instance on the lease when we're taking 10 centimetres off a time, if we're doing a cut, right, I would never take the 7,000 down there. I'd take the 6,000 down there. We're only taking that much. I'm not concerned about depth, right? So, yeah, I love them both. So, now, surely Peter Austin's not 169. So, right. Proscium, Corker for my ST49. I think I might have one. I'd have to double check. Garrett Pan. I think I've got a 14, but I have to double check that. So, right. So I'm a mile behind. But we'll skip ahead. Who's Baz is struggling in the Golden Triangle? Victoria. No gold in the last few days. Yeah, I have days like that as well. So that's very interesting. Look at this. Maps. All right. Maps. Right. It just came into my head. So I don't know whether this is a final one, but we've got final ones out the front. High quality topo. Oh, this is the one I've scribbled all over. High quality topo maps. They're a big map, right? The high quality topo maps with, and I've scribbled all over this one. You get one without the scribbles. I was scribbling GPS locations of the gates and all that sort of stuff on them. So I've got a few of these paper maps done up, particularly the Warwick Goldfields. So you can get a high quality topo of North Jurakai, West Jurakai, Talgai, South Jurakai, and that's all I think we've done at the moment. Oh, we're preparing one for Glendon's that will be available at Glendon's or at the shop here. But there's a little bit of work to be done on that because Glendon's want all the tracks and all that sort of stuff in it. So, so maps are, I don't even know whether they're available online yet, but certainly in store. They come in a, I have got maps everywhere. I've got to do something with them. They come in a, I haven't got one here, but they come in a tube, right, ready to go. So maps are wicked. So we are doing, we are working through preparing each map. So what we're doing is we're actually putting all the gold locations on them. So the mines. So let me just see if I can drag this one out again. So there you go. It's got the mine waypoints and the name of the mine on it, right? If there's a fossicking area, like this one's got a fossicking area, there's a yellow line around there to show you exactly where the fossicking area is. And if I'm around, I can, point to a few locations on some of these maps for you, sort of thing. So now we are looking for someone in Victoria, and someone in, I might have to hit you up, Baz, or someone in Victoria and someone in New South Wales that we can talk to in detail about what maps you might like, and we'll start preparing them. We don't know much. We are the experts on Queensland, so if you want specific maps of Victoria and New South Wales, just let us know. So, right, right. So, Luke, I ordered a Gold Rush Nugget bucket, arrived today. I have to wait till lockdown, so I'll give it a test run. Or any tips on using it, or just how the video shows it. I haven't seen a Gold Rush Nugget bucket, but yeah, just go through it like normal. If it's a big bucket, I would sieve it off first, and work through it bit by bit. You really need to capture all that dirt and go through it 2 or 3 times. We find it quite often on our paydirt bags. When we send our paydirt bags out, people might ring us and say, "Oh, we didn't find much," and then we say we'll go back through it, and all of a sudden there's a bit more gold there that they missed. So just go really, really close. So Steve was out the lease and gave us a big hand there to help us with a hydraulic motor. My God, let me tell you a story. So the hydraulic, and I've got hats off to Steve. A big thank you for Steve and Todd Commons for all his hard work to help me out as well. So I suppose I should go all the way back. So we put a hydraulic drive on the trommel on the lease, and we didn't want to go electric drive. We didn't want electricity down there. And in hindsight, hindsight's a great thing. Then we didn't really want to go a truck diff, setup. It was too small for that. So we put a hydraulic. In my wisdom, we put a hydraulic setup on it to drive the trommel. The hydraulic setup is the best possible setup we could have. So it all went particularly well, right? Except for the motor. So I don't know whether wires got crossed or what happened, but the guy that Dustin heard of that was doing these hydraulics was doing a bit of log splitting stuff, and he was quite well. He was cheap. So anyway, I don't know whether he got mixed up or not, but anyway, he told us the 9 horsepower engine that we had would drive what we needed. So anyway, we got it all hooked up, and the about 2 hours that motor was smoking, right? And just couldn't cope with it. Anyway, I thought, well, that motor's been sitting around for 12 months. Maybe something's happened to it. It was a $500 Chinese motor. Maybe that something's just happened to that motor, right? So in my wisdom, I thought, well, I'll get a new motor. They're $500. It's not worth getting someone to look at a motor, right? And so I bought a 12 horsepower Chinese, right? Like, you got to love the Chinese, right? About 3 hours later, that thing burnt out. It was like, what's going on here? So what I did is I stopped and I realised that I needed to do the math on the whole system, right? And so what that hydraulic pump needed was a 30 horsepower, not a 9 horsepower, not a 12 horsepower. So anyway, bought a 12 horsepower, right? Probably a giant mistake, but I bought a 30 horsepower Chinese thing. So, and then that motor started to play up as well. It was like, something's not right here. So anyway, long story short, I sat down with a hydraulic expert, Todd. Well, I think he wouldn't claim to be an expert, but he was a far, far more knowledgeable man than me, so I'm going to call him an expert. And we looked through the whole system, and that pump, the pump we had on it wasn't big enough to run the drive motor. So anyway, what I did is I bit the bullet, and I found a old Perkins engine, big old Perkins engine, 80 horsepower Perkins engine out of it was actually an old air compressor, but they used them in trucks and all that sort of stuff. In a trailer, right? And basically we ripped the air compressor off it. I ordered a new pump, and so ordered a new pump. Right, we'll pull it all apart. I've got to get hats off to Rob, who just texted me a minute ago, who helped me with the bell housing, getting all that sorted. Then we got it out there, and being a bit dopey, we cracked the housing on the pump, on the hydraulic pump. So that was good. So we were all out to run, ready to run, crack the mounting plate on it. So anyway, back to Brisbane I came. This was all last week. So I went out there Wednesday, cracked the housing Wednesday, come home Wednesday night, got the pump fixed Thursday. Yeah, it was like 2:30 or 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Drive out, only to realise that the pump, when we got it all fixed up Friday morning, the pump was leaking from the back, right? So basically couldn't use it. Bought it back, got it back here Saturday night. I must have gone out Friday because they couldn't get the part or something or other. Yeah, I went out Friday and then put it on Saturday. It was leaking. So back to town Saturday night, and I called in at the Gold Coast Treasure Hunters at Glendon's on the way home. And yes, so the pump is waiting for me to pick it up tomorrow, and we're going to have another crack at it. Persistence is the key. So persistence, my God, persistent. Right, I'm going to skip to the end. So we're not having a good run with it, but the harder something is, the better the reward. That's what I keep telling myself. So hopefully, yeah. So yeah, I cannot see a single thing that can go wrong. Well, no, I don't want to say that. I can't see a single thing where the design of the system's wrong now. I think the design of the system is right now. So hopefully it is just a matter of taking the pump out, bolting the pump on, hooking the two hoses, and pressing play. So yeah. So it's been an issue sort of thing. So Daryl's dead right. The first 12 months, every plant's like this. Absolute headache to get them running properly. I've had my share of headaches, and I've had my hand in the pocket the whole time. So yeah. So it's but yeah. It's just how it is, you know. So yeah. So yeah. Yes, it all went pear-shaped. Daryl Fisher from far north Queensland. G'day, mate. How are you? Mitch, how's pipe clay form? Pipe clay is normally a liquid. So, okay, there's a lot of things that are called pipe clay that aren't pipe clay, right? So, well, some are pipe clay and some aren't. But there's the substance that people call pipe clay occurs two ways, right? One is it's a liquid that comes up through a fault system, right, and solidifies on the way up, bringing, if you like a liquid mineralized clay substance with it. The other way it can form, some of it can form, is actually just erosion, just the same way clay forms, sort of thing, whether it's a schist decomposing or what it is. So yeah. So there's a few ways, because people call pipe clay a different thing. What I was calling pipe clay on the lease, when I actually had it analysed, it's a magnesite that was formed as a it was formed as a molten layer, pushed to the surface, and then sat and crusted up and dried out. So you can actually see where it's dried and cracked. So it's very, very cool. Not actually a traditional form of pipe clay, but yeah. So yes. Should have bought a Honda. Yes. Everyone's got opinions on stuff. Yeah. We were driving. It would have to be bigger than. So that barrel on that wash plant, 900 round. It weighs about 400 kilos by itself. Then at times we need that barrel to spin, say, almost a third full, let's call it quarter full of rock and water and what have you. So, yeah, there is a hydraulic pump was the best solution, sort of thing. So, but I tell you what, the old ute sitting out there looked good at one stage. Lots of things look good out there. So, yeah. So, anyway, it's what we started with, and we're going to finish with it. Let me tell you. Yeah. So, yeah. Yes. So Neil mentions Golden Triangle maps would be awesome. Yes, we're looking at the Golden Triangle maps. What I'd like to do with those maps actually is we might be able to. I'm going to work on a deal where because I've spent a lot of money on this printer here, and what we might do is we might actually get someone like Cleggy in Newcastle to handle all the New South Wales maps. Then we might look for someone in Victoria to handle all the Victorian maps. And then if someone wants to pick it up in WA or what have you, we might do it state by state. So if you wanted a New South Wales map, you go to Cleggy. I haven't quite worked it out. I haven't really talked to Cleggy about it, so maybe he'll tell me to go. Not myself, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So, yeah. Yeah. So, we are looking at someone mentioned there about old 100-year-old maps and what have you. We are looking at the legalities of printing the old maps off. I think there's a legality issue there, but yeah. So, yeah. Right. Pinpointer question. My pinpointer went on a target, vibration sounds. So I move it away from the target, and on an angle or upright, it keeps vibrating like crazy. I've tried to change the setting, but it still happens. Any suggestions? Rosie, I'd like to have a look at that. That doesn't sound completely right to me with your pinpointer. So I think it's probably best to take it back to where you bought it, get someone to test it for you. If you're close to me, just bring it to me and I'll test it for you, and we'll get it right, because that doesn't sound right. So, yeah. So, yes. Amanda, that's a very funny thing. So I had to move the Falcon to get to the Tirana to get to the Valiant. We've been on a journey, let me tell you. Right, so. Surprised Todd didn't chant. Matty, Todd did try to turbocharge it for me, but I figured 82 horsepower to run a trommel is probably enough. It will do the job. So, at some stage in the future, I want to put a shaker deck on it, so that motor has enough horsepower to run the shaker deck and at some stage I may even put a jig on the oversize, so, or something. Yeah, so yeah, no reward without pain. Yeah, it is a bit like that. So, right. Steve, is your scoop at the shop of the lease? I think it's sitting on the lease table, Steve. So I can bring it. I can bring it. I can bring it to back to the shop if you want, mate. So, yeah. So, not enough horsepower. Yeah, I did go over the top with the horsepower on it, to be honest with you. But it was at the reason I went for that Perkins engine. It was cheap. It was cheaper than the Chinese motor I bought, the 30 horsepower Chinese motor, and that's exactly the same. Well, no, I've got the 6-cylinder version of that motor, exactly the same in the truck. So I know that motor pretty well back to front. So I was pretty confident when I saw it there, and I thought, oh, well, we'll just... So what we've done is, it'll run at like 2,400 revs, so we've just got it sort of basically idling along, and it'll be, yeah, it'll be sweet. So, yeah. Baz Patterson asks about the maps. Is there copyright? There is copyright on these maps, right? We've had to go into a licensing agreement. That's why all this blurb is down the bottom here, where it comes from, all that sort of stuff. All that blurb, and we have to put on it that we've modified it and carried on with it. So, yes, that's what the delay's been, really, is getting all the copyright right so we don't get into trouble. So, yeah. So, yeah. But they are cool maps. Like, they are proper cool maps. I like maps, and you can sit down... I can sit down with them and look at gullies and look at all this sort of thing. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Robert, my wife knows about all the motors. Jay was taking the mickey out of me because I've had a aversion to petrol anything on the lease. So when an opportunity comes to change something over to diesel, I just switch it over to diesel. So I think there's about 4 petrol water pumps sitting out there. There's 3 motors now. There's a bit of gear just sitting around out there, sort of thing. So it's, you know, there's a graveyard of stuff that I'm embarrassed by and wasted a heap of money on. But anyway, there it is. Yeah. Victoria's in lockdown. Lots of Victorians here. Yeah, so it's it's going to yeah, Victoria. I don't know why you're in lockdown all the time. I don't know why they can't get it under control. I think there might I think you might be I think there might be an issue with the government there. I don't want to say any more than that, but I think, you know, someone's mucked that up. So yeah. But yeah, so yeah, yeah. Cameron never wasted money. I tell you what, it's been an education, right? So, like, I can now look at places and just go, no, that's a problem. You know, like the education, and I shouldn't be. I do feel a bit bad about it at the moment because my pocket's hurting and my pride's hurting a little bit, and you know, but the education that lease has given me is fantastic. So yeah, so yeah, it's good. I'm not complaining about it. It's just been a long road, and I'm ready for it just to be switch on, go. So yeah. Oh, that Perkins motor! I love those old Perkins motors. It's a 254, I think, in the wash plant, and a 236, I think. 236 in the wash plant, and a 354 in the truck. So they're a good old engine sort of thing. So yeah, how big is the lease? It's 33 acres. So yes. Tanya, you're dead right. She does love me. She must love me to put up with all my crap, not being home, and swearing at motors and hydraulic pumps, and coming home smelling like diesel and hydraulic oil and no gold in my pocket some of the time. And, you know, anyway, she does. She does. And let me tell you, the young bloke loves it. There's a bit of yellow. The young bloke loves it, and we have a great time out there, sort of thing. So it's just it's just a journey that's about to pay. I hope pay back a little bit. So that's what I hope anyway. So yeah, Aussie Alchemist has got bad reception, mate. Go back to the beginning. Let it sit for 10 minutes, and you'll be right. So, I don't know what that means. Rent dollars on the lease. So yes. Yeah, Scott, how much gold comes out of the washing machine? Actually, this little jar here, I'm using these jars now. These are bottled preforms. I'm actually trying to get them to sell them, but I have to buy like 10,000 at a time. But I'm trying to get them to sell them because they're fantastic as an unbreakable jar that you can break. You can't break, sort of thing. But I found one of these with a couple of pieces in it, washing around I think these two pieces actually, washing around in the washing machine the other day. It was floating on the surface. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway. So, yeah. So, yeah, Cameron, that's one of the real joys I have at the lease is that young bloke and Nevie and my daughter, they just love it out there, sort of thing. So the young bloke, you know, it's pretty cool for a young fella to jump in a truck and go for a drive with dad, and you know, jump on the excavator. You know, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's it's pretty cool. So that actually is that quartzite with the gold? No, that is actually that magnesite that I was talking about before. That's that magnesite that occurs with the gold a bit out there. So yeah, that obviously hasn't been through our ultrasonic cleaner, because the ultrasonic cleaner strips that off really easy. So but yeah, those pieces have been sitting around for a little bit. So right, so yes. Yeah, I love it out there with the yeah. Cameron, an old lady told me the best dissection she ever done was at a caravan park in Pilbara, where washing machines drained into the lawn. People forgot about the nuggets in their pockets. They end up on the lawn with the grey water. That's awesome, Cameron. So that's awesome. My washing machine, I think, has swallowed up a couple. But not many. I normally leave them in the truck. So yeah. So yeah. No, Lynn's saying it won't be long before my daughter wants to get in on the action. She was on the excavator there not long ago. She's sitting on my lap for a photo opportunity, and I had to stop her grabbing the levers. So yeah, so she's out there, sort of thing. So what acid do you use to clean up ironstone from gold? The acid that I've normally used is that Alibrite. I use Alibrite a little bit for that job. It takes a long time. You can get hydrofluoric, very hard to get, very dangerous to use. But yeah, Alibrite will do it. Some people use CLR as well. A rust converter can do it as well. But the rust converters, any of that CLR and rust converter doesn't actually remove the ironstone, it just takes the staining away. So if you've got a nugget that's stained, that works. But if it's actually got ironstone on it, that won't work. So, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. Right, so. Phil, has everyone ever found an old timer's hide? I don't think so. So, yeah. Magnus, 25 years working at Washplay Magnesite mine. Cool. So, yeah, everyone's gone chasing down. Now, Richard's here from Glendon's, right? Richard's gone down to check his washing machines. I've lost him. He's gone. So, yeah. So, yeah, he's got a caravan park. He's got the caravan park there at Glendon. It's not really caravan park. It's camping grounds. And yeah, I'll be checking your washing machines, mate. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Mick Nielsen's in the house. It's always an adventure with Mick Nielsen, let me tell you. Did someone say Mick Nielsen? I don't know. G'day, Mick Nielsen. Mick Nielsen's in the house. So, yes. Yes, lots of acids work. Brick Cleans work. Alley Bright's normally from Super Cheap Autos. That's where I get mine. Sulfuric acid some people use, but Alley Bright does the job. Just get the strongest stuff. The strongest stuff you need. Yeah. So yeah. The what was I going to talk about then? Slipped me. Gavin, have you ever used a drone on your lease to see any features that need investigating? I haven't. I've got a drone here, but I don't think there's a whole stack of stuff that I haven't seen on the lease. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So what about ultrasonic cleaners? Ultrasonic cleaners, we've stopped using acid in the shop because I didn't want the guys to splash acid on their hands or anything like that. Although the acid, like Alley Bright, is actually fairly mild. So we've just switched to an ultrasonic cleaner. It cleans the nuggets up beautifully. If they've got a bit of ironstone on it, it won't affect the ironstone. It's got a bit of quartz, it won't affect the quartz, right? But I think that it just cleans the gold. So a lot of nuggets, specimen nuggets that have been treated with acid look crumbly. It makes the quartz and the ironstone look all scratchy and horrible. So if you've got a specimen that you're not sure what to do with, don't put it in acid. So 10 minutes in ultrasonic cleaner, not an issue, sort of thing. We got one here, so if you want to just come in and use the ultrasonic cleaner, yeah, we'll just throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner and give it 10 minutes and away it goes, sort of thing. Dolly pots, we have dolly pots in stock. If you spend over $100, I forget how much the dolly pots are. Let me have a look. If you spend over $100 or something or other. Let me have a look here for dolly pots. So Cameron, beware of long fingernails. Okay. For people collecting gold under their fingernails. Yeah, I suppose. If I got this stuck under my fingernail, I suppose it'd be alright. Need a long fingernail for that one. So, view products. Let's have a look here. Going in the back. The dolly pots vary in price from $159, $139 for the dolly pots. We got stacks of dolly pot in. So, Mark Richards, what'd you miss? Mark Richards from Metal Detecting Country, New South Wales. Mark, to be honest with you, you didn't miss much. We've been chatting. I told you a story about how, a saga with the lease, but you didn't miss too much, mate. So, Jay Ford. It's always an adventure with Mick Nielsen. Jay Ford's in the house. So, yes. But yeah, so there's not much, yeah. So, Michael, lease in Victoria costs minimum of 25 grand. My mate Jim is waiting 6 months. It's hard in Victoria and expensive in Victoria. Only 4 working, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty hard in Queensland as well. The transfer, when I bought that lease, it was already established. The transfer took 6 months before it was finalised. Just to transfer the lease from one name to another. Like, it costs a lot of money and it's crazy sort of thing. So, yeah, so... Oh, no, someone started Mark Richards on bottle dumps. Not again. Geez, we'll spend all night in the comments talking about bottles now. So, yes. That's an issue. Peter Austin, Knox found 3 fly specks 3 inches deep. Right. Yeah. That may have been a lucky find, mate. I don't know whether... Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see that. So, have you tried finding gold at the beach? If so, where's the best spots on the beach to look and pan? Yes, people do it. I was actually talking to a bloke today who has done it and has some videos on it, actually. I didn't get back to him. But he was talking about the black sand layer in the beach. I've actually got to get back to. I need to share those links to a friend of mine who was asking about it. So, yes. So, news on Palmerville Station. Well, there's not much going on with Palmerville except for a whole lot of paperwork to work out what the hell's going on and how everyone is going to work together, putting plans in about the camp. But I would think in the next few weeks we're going to have that ready to go. So it is happening. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. Manningham, Gold Coast. Well, the Spit. If anyone knows the Gold Coast, right? The Spit is the finger of land to the north of the Gold Coast. Okay? Right in the corner. Actually, you know what? Let me just pull up a map here. And we just need any map. We don't need a special map for this job. Right, let me share my screen here. Where we go? Monitor share. Here we go, right? Maps. Google Maps will do us just fine for this job. So, Google Maps. Let's just scroll in here. Gold Coast. Alright. So, here's the Spit. This is the finger of land I was talking about to the north of the Gold Coast here. Right? This little cutout here, right there, I hope you can see that. At the turn of the century, 1900 odd, there was a gold dredge running there, right in that corner there. So I guess as the main river came out, that was the low pressure zone in the back there. And, oh, hang on. Sorry, can't see the map. There's the map I was just showing you, right? So this is the Spit, long finger of land. In the 1900s, right in this corner here, that was a gold dredge ran there, right? Now, personally, I have panned gold for, well, I did get in trouble. I don't know whether I've told this story. As a young bloke, I used to spend a lot of my childhood in Jefferson Lane, right? On the beach, on the back side of the beach, not on the beach, right? And I used to, a lot of misspent use spent around this area here. And this area in here, the Currumbin Creek, right, they used to dredge this a lot, and I think they still do. And I used to, when they were dredging it, what I did it a couple of nights in a row, but I made an old sluice, and they used to dredge in here. The dredge used to run in here, and the pipes used to run out onto the beach here, right? Not, we don't worry about that. Onto the beach here, and the pipe used to run up over the sand dunes here and off into the water. I actually put a sluice in there when I was a young bloke. Below that at night, they dredged 24 hours a day, but the blokes were only supervising it during the day. And so I had a cunning idea at like about 10 o'clock at night. I went down and I put this sluice under the outflow of the dredge, the sandy water. And then the deal was I'd get up there at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, pull the sluice out, see if there's any gold in there. Anyway, it worked all right. There was a little bit of gold in it the first night. Second night, I slept. To be honest with you, I had too many beers. I slept in, and there were 6 blokes standing around here at the outlet to the dredge when I went back to get my thing out. And I had to explain to them I was just looking for a bit of gold. And they weren't real happy about that. I think they may have been onto that ourselves. So, yeah, Mick Nielsen. Yes. Still do. Stay off our dredges, O'Reilly. Old man Newman is still cranky at you. Yeah, well, that was a few years ago, but yeah, I did get a. They did. Let me tell you, they gave me a serve about it. So yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, the dredges. Yeah, but the black sand on the beach does carry a little bit of gold. So, There's blokes in North Queensland with EPMs not wanting to mine at all near Chiligo and the Palmer, taking hundreds of ounces with detectors. Is that allowed? Lucas, it depends on what he's applied for his EPM. So if you're approved to go in there looking and detect it and detect it and detect it, you're allowed to do that. So, yeah. So if that's what's on his EPM, that's what he's allowed to do. So, yeah. So, yeah. Did I get my sluice back? Oh, I wasn't really that concerned about my sluice. It was an old timber thing that I made. It didn't have mats in it, just some riffles in it, because I had to, yeah. I sort of, I made it up on the sly. I come up with the idea and made it up on the sly, and I didn't have many tools or anything like that. So, yes. Yes. So, yeah. Yeah. I know you couldn't see it. I'm just reading back in the comments here, sort of thing. So it was a disaster. So, look at that. According to history, workers at Mount Morgan Mine used to oil their hair, then rub their hands in their hair, then run it through the flour gold, then rub their hands through the hair and go home. Wow. That's a good idea. I wouldn't get much gold, to be honest with you. I'd need a lot of oil and not much gold. So, yes. Yes. So, right. Yeah, I got busted. Yes. Liquid courage always helps. So, yes. Righto, guys. Well, we might call it quits there. It's 20 to 9 here in Queensland. We will give away we got a couple of mugs here. So for YouTube, let me just pull this up. I'll do it properly. I need to just write that down. So we got some Gold Miggers mugs we're going to give away there tonight. So I'll just get this fired up. And we'll just see what's going on here. Just get these comments up. Get this running here. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see what's going on. Why won't you work? Geez, I should be supervised by this. I'm muck things up consistently. So we'll see if we can get this loaded right now. Sorry guys, I'll just get this going here. Not playing. I completely disorganised tonight. Yeah, it's not even logged in. That's my problem. I got my password. Should do it on the other computer that's logged in. Got too many passwords in my head. Sorry guys, won't be a moment. We'll just get this up here. So here we go. Okay, so let's get it going here. So to Facebook. So we got Gold Digger mug. I'm sure I got 2 up there. I need to get some more mugs actually. Ray White from Facebook wins that one. And for the YouTube, it goes to Tim Limited. Now, Tim Limited, you need to contact me after the show, and whoever that other person was, Ray White. Ray, I'll contact you after the show. So, congratulations, guys. So, we'll do that. Righto guys, so next week I'm actually going to sit down tomorrow and put up a plan for what we're doing next week, so it's not a disorganised mess. And although I quite enjoy the disorganised mess things, I never know what I'm going to talk about and what have you. So yeah, it's fantastic. So oh, Nicky Barley, Ray's on a roll. He won your bottle. Oh, cool. So, alright guys, thanks very much. We will see you next week. We'll have a proper show. We'll talk about all sorts of bits and pieces. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks guys. Bye.
Thanks guys for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe and call us on the Daylight Helpline. See you next time.